Hi everyone. Good evening and good afternoon everyone. I'm Kribaran. I'm with MST around 3+ years of experience. I'm just a software developer. Let's dive into the session quickly. So this is the agenda for today. As we discussed, right? So in this session, we are going to see how to integrate Salesforce and Slack. For integration procedure, we have a lot of things a lot of ways to integrate the Slack and Salesforce. In this today's session, we are going to cover 3 ways. The one is the AppExchange product, and the second one is custom integration way, and then the third one is using Zapier tool. Let's discuss about Slack, and then we can come back with the integration with the Slack AppExchange product. So as we all know, right, Slack is used to track our business or track our development team or the marketing team, like that, whatever. So we can create a channel or we can create a workspace group like that, and we can discuss among with us and any queries or any important things or any stand-up approaches like that. Everything we can do it in a Slack, right? So in this part, what we are going to do is we are going to take the Slack and we are going to take the Salesforce. And if any occurrence happen in the Salesforce, we are going to post it in a Slack channel. That is what the today main concept. The first way is using AppExchange. So this AppExchange is provided by Salesforce. By installing this AppExchange product, we can post our record from Salesforce to Slack, whichever we can automate the process. Like if any record is created in a Salesforce or any record is updated in the Salesforce, we can just post the record to the Slack. Along with that, we can just mention what are the fields we have to post to the channel. Say, for example, if account record is created, we have to post account name and email and account number only to the Slack. Means we can mention these are all the fields I'm going to send. And here there is no code involved, everything in an AppExchange product only. So it is easier to configure as well. And one more thing is we can post the record or something to the channel, as well as we can share to the particular people itself from in the Slack. And then say for example, previously I told, right, so we can share the record to Slack, and then based on the record we can discuss with our team, and then finally any user has the access to Salesforce, they can just pin that record. So the conversation and the comments will be saved as a related record in a particular record. These are all the prerequisites for the same. First of all, we need to create a Slack account, and then we need to create a workspace on that, and we have to create the channel based on our team or our members like that. And the second one is we need Slack AppExchange product and then Slack directory. Here the Slack AppExchange, as we explained, right. So by this AppExchange we can connect to Slack. But Slack directory is we have to install this application in a Slack app. So it is like in our Salesforce we have AppExchange, right? Like that in Slack they have apps. So from that app we have to enable the Slack directory. So the use case is the Slack directory will help us to get the record, or maybe if you search any record from the Slack to the Salesforce, it will show the suggestion of records. So for example, if you are typing the employer, it will show the employer 1, employer 2, like that. It will show the other records, and you can click the record and you can see the records. For that, every users can access, but they can't able to see the full records, but they can see just the name, employer number, like that. And this is the link to download the AppExchange product. And here the important thing is, as of now, they are supporting only for the list of editions, professional, enterprise, unlimited, and developer, and they are not supporting to the Salesforce partner business box. This is that's all about the prerequisites. And yeah, in the earlier I mentioned, right, this is the easy step only. By configuration only we can do it. We can do the integration, right? The same snapshot here. This is like first of all we need the Slack directory. We have to install it in our Slack, and then the companion app, which is the AppExchange product, we have to install it in our Salesforce app. And the third step, we have to connect both. The third step will have 5 steps of sub steps, but those are all the simple step only. Here, just under step 3, we will mention like which object and which scenario we have to send, like that information only. Okay. Let's see as a demo up to this. As I mentioned, right, the first step we have to add the Slack directory in our Slack, right? So I just created a workspace. You can create a workspace from once you log in. You can just create from the workspace. From here, you can create your new workspace, and then you can create your channel. So just created the channel. Now we are going to add the Slack directly to this Slack. So by navigating the browse Slack, there is option like apps. From here, you can type Salesforce. So this is a directory. We are going to add it here. The 3 steps. Right now we are going to add it in the. Just we have to authorize. Like if you are logging the Salesforce account, it will allow. It wants your access, right? So the same kind of thing here. Yeah, this is my art username. We just added the Slack directory to our Salesforce, and this is the arc for that. But from this arc only, it will get the records and it will display while you are searching or while you are finding the records. Okay, now the second one is we mentioned, right? We completed the Slack directory to our Slack, and now we have to install the AppExchange product. I just already installed. So this is the after we install the package, this application will create, and here we have to configure some other things. As I mentioned, right, in the third step, you will have some 5 sub steps. The same here. Let's get started here. The first one we have to authorize the Salesforce to this AppExchange product. It's done. Maheshwari, sorry. Mahadev, Swami, do you want anything here?
Yes. So you opened this particular org like a Slack setup you opened here, right? Can you show me like previously, like before coming to here, like how you opened this particular Slack org?
Just after you install this
Okay. That link. Okay.
Yeah, this application will be we can see from here.
Okay. And one more doubt,
Yes.
that one, like you did a integration, right? Like to the Salesforce org, like some while integration Slack to Salesforce, it took one account, right? Can we change the org? Like for example, in Salesforce we can create multiple orgs, right?
Yeah.
So like in your case, it's directly took one org, right?
Yeah, I just logged in here, right? So that it directly landed there. If I haven't logged in, means it will ask to log in. Same. If you log in Workbench, it will ask username password, right?
Okay. So while that time we can use our name,
Yeah,
right? Whatever
yeah,
we need. Okay.
yeah, we can decide. So I just logged in so that it directly landed to here.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. I forgot your name for this one. Okay, fine. Let's continue the next step. So right now we just authorize the AppExchange product and our art. Continue the next step. Here we have to add our custom objects. We are going to integrate. Like if you, in the earlier I mentioned, right, if you are going to create the account and you can share the account record to the Slack, right? Like that, if for the standard object we cannot able to share all the standard object records, but we can share minimal list of standard object records. And for the custom object, we can manually add it here. So for this one, I created this custom object for our demo purpose. This object, nothing it has. Just I created only one field. The field name is message, and it's a text box. So now I'm going to integrate this custom object. So any records created in the object, I'm going to share it in a Slack. So just select your object, And then here only, this is the place we have to select what are all the fields we have to show it in a Slack message. So once you created a record in this object, what are the fields we have to send it to the post, send it to the Slack, we have to select here only. So right now I'm just going with the text field message which I created here, and now just we have to activate. So there is just two ways of activation. One is automatic activation, another one is manual activation. This activation in the behind the scenes, it is just going to deploy some triggers and deploy some buttons to this particular object. That's it. Okay, we can just deploy it manually. Sorry, automatically. Okay, it's done. Let's finish it. And then we have the third step. Let's continue here. This is a custom alert. It's an interesting one. But instead of now, I will just create one alert, and we can feel the difference, and we can feel the use case for this in the complete demo. Okay, right now I will just add it, and later I will explain what it is. I'm going to name it as new alert. The object, the same which we created, the custom object Slack custom. And then there is a two type. One is object and another one is record. This is, so we are going to send some alert. I will explain what is alert later. But the alert is based on the object level, means if for this object, if we have any child record, say for example, if this object has any task, any event like that, means so if any new event created, it will trigger the object level access. If it is a record level, any field has been changed, it will trigger the record level. The demo we can in the final of demo we can see the alert use case. So now here we have to specify which scenario. I'm going to if message equal demo, then it should show the alert. Later we will see how it's work. Let's finish it, and then the configuration. So here these are all the list of standard object. Here in this list of standard object, we can just add some actions in the layout. Action means we can post some record, or we can send some record manually to the Slack, and then we can send some alert manually to the Slack. So those kind of things already pre-built in the AppExchange product. So right now we are just adding the buttons and action to the list of standard object. So we implemented a custom object, right? For that object, we have to manually add it. Just a simple step only. If you navigate to the page layout, there will be a section. Okay, right now I will leave this one. Later we'll see. I'm not sure whether the new issue. Let me leave it right now. Just finish it. The last episode, I mean, the last one is we have a component, right? So in this component, it will display the related record, which means if you send one record to the Slack, and the user can just add the record to Salesforce, which means they can just react the particular record. If you reacted the particular message of record, it will add as a related record. That related record will be showing in the component. I will show it in a demo. Let me finish that. And the last one is, so configure the destination. This is used to automate the process. So we can create the process builder or flow. So any record is created newly, or any record update based on our condition, means we can post the record automatically. So as I said, right, we can send the record manually as well by adding the custom button new layout. Like that, instead of manually, if any conditions are met, we can go with the automation process. Here we just have to generate the automation ID, and based on that ID we can do the callouts. I'm providing a destination message destination name. I am this is my workspace, and this is my channel. Here this one. I selected, right? Those are all my. This is my workspace name, and this is my channel name, the same I provided on that page. And then just copy this record ID. We'll store it here. Later we will use it. So right now the setup and configuration has been completed. Now we have to test manually to manually send the record to Slack. Let's jump into the object. Create a record. So here I just created a record, but I haven't wrote any automation process to send the record to the particular channel. Now I'm going to post the record manually, and the next step I'm going to automate the process. The send to Slack, which we while doing the configuration, we did one deployment right at the time the button will be deployed here. And then here, as I said, right, we can share the record with the particular person or the channel as well. We can post it here. This is optional only. I'm going to send this record. Yeah, the record has been posted. Right now, we selected only the message field, right? So that it is just displaying this only, but the value as demo one. But we can select multiple fields, whichever we needed. Okay, and here we can ask one question like, so here I'm only one user in this channel, but I'm having multiple users, but the users doesn't have access to the Salesforce, means they can see this record what we shared here, but they can't able to access the link. So this is a hyperlink. So if the user have the Salesforce access, they can see this record and they get the process link. Fine. So right now we just posted the record manually to the Slack. And now, as I explained, right, the custom alert we have, right, I'm going to explain the same. So if you have to utilize the custom alert functionality means, first of all, we have to subscribe the particular record. So right now I just created one record from Salesforce and shared the record manually. Now I'm going to subscribe the record. Just by clicking the manage alert, we can, here, this is a new alert which we created. If the condition met, it will trigger this particular alert. And then here we can select whether if the particular record we created a task or event, means we can enable it. If any update occur on the task or any new task added on the particular 001 record, it will be posted in the channel. Okay. Right now I'm just selecting a new alert. Let me save it one. Okay. Now. But sometimes the alert will respond later only, which means the condition will be met, but the response we will get sometimes later only for the alert only. I'm saying from the beginning itself. Okay, now I'm just going to change it to, okay. Save this one. Yeah, this is the alert. So right now we got it immediately, but sometimes it takes some time to return the response. Okay, so the difference between alert and the record sharing is, here you can see the message field we are seeing. So right like that, if we have multiple fields, we can see everything, but it's just a push notification like that. This is called the alert. Okay, and from the Salesforce itself, we can subscribe the alert. So we can send the alert, we can subscribe the alert from the Salesforce itself. From both sides, we can do it. And now one more option we have, like, so just select here. And there is a button called Add to Salesforce, right? If you click this one, it will ask the record. So yes, 001. So we have to find the record. If I click add, means it will show a message like only the people can see the message. So what will happen is, let me add the component here. Since it is a custom object, so we have to add the component manually. While doing the configuration, I said, right, the component deployments, it will deploy the component, and the component will have the related record of the particular record, which means the conversation like that. Save this one. Yeah, now we just pinned that record, right? So it will create as a related record here. But in that Slack we just had a hyperlink on the symbol side so that it is not displaying here. But if it is a empty text means it will display here. Like instead of sending other things, we can just send a so I sent manual post, right? So if the manual send will send the hyperlink and record ID and the logo like that. But you can configure like without manually, by automatically can just send a record name like that. And if you print, that means it will not show like this. Okay, fine. So this is what use case of the alert. So we can just follow up the record and we can create the custom alert itself. The standard alert means if we created any log or any event in the Salesforce means the alert will be shown here. If we subscribe it, so I haven't subscribed the other things. If we subscribe, it means it will show like here. From the manage alert button, we can subscribe. So these are the options to get the task and event happenings. And then now we are going to integrate Slack with the using custom integration. This one is instead of using the standard Apex class, the standard AppExchange, by custom our own code we can create it. But in their page they are recommending only the Salesforce apps. The reason is the Salesforce apps has the latest API versions, but the regular class will not have like that. Which means we have to include the webhook functionality, but the webhook will not have a latest API. So that they are recommending go ahead with the Slack applications. And by this way as well, we can automate our process. Here, we are just going to regular callouts, which means we are going to create Apex class and we are going to generate a endpoint. And to that endpoint, we are going to send our record. That's it. I just created a code, the regular callout code is nothing but. So from the process filter or from the flow, we are going to create. We are going to trigger this one. So I added the invocable method and invocable variables. And right now I'm going to send it a message field itself. Other than that, I haven't added anything. If we need it, we can add the other fields here as well. And we can add the Salesforce, the Slack bot icon itself. So here it has some icon, right? Like that, if you want any other custom your company logo like that as well, we can add it from here. So just we have to add the emotes like that. I haven't added right now. If needed, we can add it. And this is just the callout class. By this method, the regular method, the regular endpoint and regular send method will make the callout. Here we have to update our webhook URL. But if you want to access the webhook URL, first of all, we have to install the webhook into your Slack. So this will used to get the endpoint URL. Means maybe there will be incoming webhook. Just add it to your Slack. As I mentioned, for the custom integration, they are not saying that's a best practice since it has the old API only. So now we have to select our channel. So this is my channel name. This URL. We just generated a webhook URL. By this URL only, it is going to make the column. Let's come back here. Save the settings. Okay. Let me save this record. Now let's create a process filter. So we can create a process builder or flow, whatever needed. Right now, I'm going to create one process builder for the custom integration, and I'm going to create the flow for the standard integration. The standard integration as well, we can do the automation. Previously, we got the ID, right? By this ID, we can do the call out. Call. So next, I will show it. Now, just, check this. Okay. If the message is changed, to call our Apex class, which we created, the class name I mentioned, right? For publish to start basics. And here we have to pass our channel name, like this is my channel name. Here we have it, the same I'm going to put here. And then Slack message, I'm going to use the message field from the object. Right. So far, we generated a webhook, and by this webhook, we just prepared the Apex class to make the call out, and we created the process builder. Any changes occurred in the message in the message field, we are going to post that record to the Slack. Let's test it. Just update this one. This is a message, which is updated one. So here it added webhook border. So if needed, we can just change the logo as well from the code. So from the code, we can just add a one more attribute in the JSON, and we can change like the image. Fine. So right now we just implemented our own Apex class and we did. But now what we are going to do is by doing the configuration, we generated the ID, right? By this ID, we are going to automate, but we are not going to create any Apex class. The reason is the managed package has the Apex class. By that Apex class, the call out going to happen. Let me deactivate this. As I said, I'm going to one is flow, one is process builder, and one is flow. So any record changes in the on the object, I'm going to post it. If the message value is changed, I'm going to make this column. Here. How to call the Apex class, but this one is not our Apex class. By installing the managed package, they have a code, and but here we can't able to see the code. We can just see the interface only. The message destination ID only, which we while doing the configuration step, in the fifth step, we generated the configuration ID. The same ID I'm going to copy here. Then the current record ID. So if the message is needed, we can enable it, otherwise we can leave it. Okay. So this is a record. While the initial step we selected the fields, right? Message field only we have to send like that. We added right? The same thing here. It is displaying. Okay. Any questions so far here? The AppExchange product or the automation process? Okay. Now we are going to integrate the Slack with the use of Zapier tool. This is an integration tool. We can just sign up with our Gmail, but it's a paid one only. We can get a trial version for 15 days, and we can learn it as I said, right, the Zapier tool is an external integration tool. By using this tool, the most usage is we can connect more than two integration tools with us. Say, for example, we can post a record from Salesforce to Slack, and then we can just post it to the OneDrive. Or if any changes occurred in the OneDrive, we can get that record to Slack as well as the Salesforce. So vice versa as well, we can do it here. Here, the important thing is once you completed your Zap, you have to publish that. Otherwise, you will not see the difference in the line. It's not moving. So this is the simple steps to integrate the Slack and Salesforce using the Zapier tool. So just we have to select our destination and source. So from the Salesforce, I'm going to connect the Slack, and when it means when any update happen, and I need how to send the message to the channel. So like we have to just mention everything in a configuration here as well. No codes involved. And these are all the steps. So first we have to connect the apps, and we have to prepare our setup, which means which scenario we have to send and what action have to happen like that. We have to mention in the step 2, and in the step 3, just we have to publish the Zap. That's it. Let me go to the Zap. So this is a Zapier from here. This is the Zapier URL. From here, just we can register our trial account. So I am also using the trial account only. Right now, it has a 30 days conversion. Okay. So this is a page from the once you logged in, it will land by default. It will land this page. Otherwise, just click on this Zapier logo. It will redirect to your this on this page. Here we have to select from where we are going to interconnect. So from the Salesforce, I'm going to connect Slack. And I'm going to select any new record created. I'm going to post this. So these are all the actions. So we can do it once the record is created. We can create the channel, and we can find the people, and we can send the message to the particular people as well, and we can post the record or the message to the channel as well. So right now I'm going to send a message to the channel. Just click on the try button. So the same 3 steps we saw in the slides. So this one is already I logged in, right? So that it is just displaying this. Maybe I will add it a new one on the logged in one. I think I'd say old one. So in the Zapier, we can add more than 2 or more than 2 Slack accounts as well as the Salesforce account to integrate. So I'm going to pick a production. It's a DevOps. So I'm going to use the production. So this is my current app. So I'm going to allow it. Then you will be created. This is a right now I just authorized. Next. So now we have to select the object. Here the thing is here we can select only one object. If needed, we have to create the one more sample. So far, we just created the Zap account, and by using the Zap account, we just mentioned what source and destination like Salesforce and Slack, and we just authorized the Salesforce, and now we are going to connect the Slack. Just the same kind of thing, just right here. So already I just logged in the Slack, right, by using this email, so that it just navigated directly. But if you want, you can just click the new one and you can do it. So I'm going to post in the development channel. So here we can select what we need. So right now I'm just going to select send as a bot, and you can select bot name, bot icon, whatever needed, just we can add it here. And if we have more than fields as well, that is as well we can select from here. Let's click on the next and the message. So instead of the custom message, I'm going to use the value of the particular record message field. I'm going to send bot. These two only we selected in the previous step. If you selected any bot icon or any other bot name, it will show on the previous step. Let's test it. Just connected. Yeah. So this is for the test message. So from the Zapier we tried it, right? So that the bot will be a Zapier icon. So in the integration step, as I mentioned, right? If you want, we can change the name and the emoji, everything. Let's activate this one. So if you turn on the Zap means it will publish to public. After that, it will work when you create the record in the Salesforce. So right now we selected, right, if any new record created on the Slack custom object, it will post it to the Slack, but using the Zapier integration. Okay, now I'm going to create a new record. Wait a minute. Sometimes it is also taking some time. Let's review the connection again. One more time, the account newly I will add. Again, I'm going to add this account. There is no changes needed here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is a record which we post. It is coming daily. Let me create it again one more time. We'll post. It is taking some time to receive. This is a record previously we created, right? The same. Maybe in a couple of minutes we will receive the other record, like the third record. Like the same kind of thing, sometime alert as well will work. If you create a record, the conditions can be met, but it will send the record with couple of minutes delay. Fine. So these are all the way. So far we covered to integrate the Slack. Maybe other ways as well available. So for this session, we just took these three and we just implemented it. So this is for the question time. Any questions here? Any questions, team? Yeah.
Yeah, hi Karan. Sorry, I just dropped before it starts Zap, but connected back. So that Zap is like, is it from AppExchange we use or like third-party application?
It's a third-party application. Fully, it's a third-party application. So this is a URL, zapier.com. So here we have to create the account. By Gmail as well, we can create the trial account. So it seems trial period. Here it is saying the trial period, right? So, but it's a paid version only. For the development purpose, right now we are creating the free version.
Okay.
And from the Zapier to Salesforce as well, we can implement. Yeah,
okay, fine. Thanks.
Yeah, this is the third record, right? We received now only receiving our alert. Third record. Okay. Any other questions?
So Karan, how secure are these connections? Like we use, right? We integrated with Zapier, right? So so how much secure are those? Like from Salesforce, we connected to Zapier. From there, it's we integrated to Slack, right?
Not have the full answer here, but from my knowledge, in real time as well, some projects the team implementing the Zapier integration. So I believe it's work for us. But sorry, I'm not having the full answer for your question. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Is it possible that we can update it in Slack itself, any record, and it will reflect in Salesforce?
From the Slack means, sorry, from the Zapier means we have to integrate the Zapier and then the Slack. Sorry.
Like two-way. Two-way is possible.
Yes, two ways possible. Yeah, maybe.
In Zapier. Okay.
Yeah, in Zapier. I will do it one more as well. So, say for example, previously we connected from Salesforce to Slack, right? So now I'm going to connect from Slack to Salesforce. So instead of you are choosing a Salesforce, you can just select the Zapier as well. So you can see the record in Zapier in a different format, but I'm not familiar with that integration. But we can do it. I'm saying.
Okay. Okay.
For example, here new message is posted to the channel, we can create as a record. Right. Before that, we deactivate the other things. But I think we need to wait for a couple of minutes, right? Just for your question, I'm just trying to implement the same. Just 2 minutes. So since here we are not selecting the bot, right? I said no, right? The reason is the human only going to post the record in related to the implementation in the Slack channel, right? So that we are selecting. I'm not a bot in the previous selection. As I said, here we can select only one object, but if you need, you can add. We can just create another one Zap by using that Zap. We can do it. Here, it is asking the group if you want to assign any record to the particular QR group. So I don't have any group implementation. We can leave it. That's not mandatory. From here, we can select the owner, the record owner. So I'm going to select my user as a owner. The message maybe what they sent. So this is the text means in a Slack something we are going to send, right? Hi, how are you, like that. The same thing. So just a confirmation for the same. The test as well will create the record in Salesforce. We will see. Done this app. This is a final step. We have to publish this. Any other questions here? In the meantime, we can discuss it. So
So Karan, like as you just shown in demo, like you send few messages, right? Like that only from sales, or we can send, for example, invoice, everything, even to Slack, right?
Yeah, we can send a file as well. That is what you are asking as invoice, right?
Yeah. Is there like any limitation, or like a particular size, like a file size need to be like any limitation, like 25 MB or anything like that?
Yeah, I got your question. But honestly, I haven't tried the files. I'm sorry. I haven't tried the
Not a problem. Yeah, not a problem.
second
Like,
time.
is it possible to, like, as you said, files we can share, right? Even few times Excels will be like huge size, right?
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, we
By
are
that side.
all feel the same, but I haven't implemented.
But in this scenario, we need to check the both side limitation. Like we need to check Slack also. In Salesforce, we got some limitation, right? Like for the attachment related stuff. So if you are going to attach that file in particular document related list, means they will have some limitation, right? So it depends on the both.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, thanks.
Yeah, nice question. Any other questions, team? I think all are good.
I think I'd like to thanks for everyone. So instead of the online communication, I think it's an interactive session.
Yeah.
Thank you for the questions.
Yeah, it's a nice collaboration. I think now questions are there.